The Dutch monarchy. Turns out it's important to have a guy who arrives by golden coach so that the elected leader can just get around by bike. Welcome back to United States of Europe, making fun of the EU the American way. But before we begin, let's hear a word from our sponsor, specifically corporate events. Corporate events, the only thing close to paying me to make these videos and sometimes an excuse to perform for the king. Now, I've done years of corporate events, but lately I'm in a bit of a niche of events with a green theme. Yes, if you want someone to host your event about healing the planet, the hot choice is the guy from the country that's currently setting the planet on fire. It all started when I hosted the Airports Going Green event in Amsterdam. The first time it was ever held outside the US, which meant that everyone had to fly over to Amsterdam, which admittedly is not very green. I spoke at an animal feed conference on making feed more green. Did you know that for every 100 grams of salmon on your plate, it takes 500 grams of raw fish to feed them? That is, unless you plan to replace the raw fish with soybeans. I said, hey, now at least when America ends up dumping tons of soybeans, the fish will become vegan. And then there was the Green Tech Summit, responsible for some of the most complicated PowerPoint slides ever devised. The Netherlands is a country of 17 million people, but every year they make enough to feed 80 million people. The question was, how can we have more countries like that? One big answer is Dutch greenhouse technology. You can grow anything in a greenhouse. Fruit, vegetables, I mean, not weed. That is still technically illegal. But luckily for all of us, there are some growers who happen to like tattoos and piercings who are investing heavily in the technology that will allow an entire greenhouse to fit inside, say, a shipping container, which you could hide anywhere. So now there's the very real possibility that you could have fresh tomatoes delivered from your container ship, and the ones we'll have to thank are the stoners. Although I wasn't allowed to say that on stage. And then came the king. King Willem Alexander will show up for big events like the 50th anniversary of the Dutch company called Koppert Biological Systems. There were so many protocols, one of which was, don't take selfies with the king. So as the king was being ushered in, I had to go through this list of protocols for the whole crowd. When to stand, when to sit, what to say, what not to say. I couldn't help adding to the end of the list, yikes, this guy is high maintenance. Luckily, the king left. I was thinking, hey, let's not bow down too low. Don't forget, we're paying this guy's salary. Wisely, I didn't say that part. But it's tough to be the king. I mean, talk about protocols. This guy is all, go here, stand there, now you have to leave. One of the lines I had to say was, well, the king has to excuse himself now, he has a busy day. King Willem Alexander was there in the crowd like, what? Oh, okay. He was just having a good time. Luckily, the king stuck around just long enough for the tagline, because this whole event occurred right after that National Geographic article, This Tiny Country Feeds the World, about how the Netherlands is, amazingly, the second biggest agricultural exporter in the world. You know who's still number one? The United States. So I was happy to report to the Dutch king that in terms of agricultural business, it is still America first. The Netherlands second.